Hey everyone, how's it going? Gonna get started in just a little bit. As you can see, we are still down right now for our update. I can talk a little bit about that in just a bit. This might be a little bit of a shorter stream today. I have my son with me over there, so if you hear some crazy frog or some stuff, what do you want to say? Hello, Jeffrey? There he is. Hello. Can you wave to the camera? All right, there you go. It's the holidays. Welcome everyone, how's it going? Gonna get started. Like I said, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about what we got going on. Give some chance for Q&A and questions if anyone has any. I hear there's been a little bit of news. Yeah. So there we go. Like I say, I'm kind of just keeping it casual today, just kind of doing whatever. I don't know if you've seen all of this yet. Let me find it. Ah. Oh no, ah! Where did I put that? Here we go. Our new logo. Pretty cool, huh? Hey, Sander, nice to see you here. Hey, Uncle DOJ, Service. Yep, that's my son, Jeffrey. He, like I say, is with me today. So that's why I'm kind of, I've got him for the holidays. And we're just about ready to go on our kind of corporate holiday break. But I couldn't get him to daycare today, so we're taking him to the office, and that's sort of what's going on. I'll talk a little bit about the news. Maybe we can go over the release notes if I want to. Maybe I'll even show a little bit of festival cookie stuff, that kind of thing. Vortex73, now that the patch is out and update 34 is on track, have there been any movement to look into the favored Soul Pass? Not movement in terms of like actual development work, but it's still totally something we're planning to do next. So, Shoemaker, can I send you that logo and the logo for SSG points? Not yet. We have a few legal things about the sort of sharing out that those points and all that sort of thing yet. That logo. I'm also not sure about the logo. I don't want DDO streamers popping the logo on their streams because you guys are streaming on the official channel, but I don't want people to get confused about who's working for Standing Stone Games and that sort of thing. So I'm not sure about just sort of making it available for live stream use. I need to think about that a little bit more. I'm sure it'll happen eventually, but right off the bat, I didn't want a bunch of potentially people saying they were with SSG or whatever, so. Fly-flung flu. So everyone is still going to be on DDO, me, Sev, Steelstar, Knockback, etc. Absolutely. I've seen some things that's like, how many people got hired by Standing Stone Games from the DDO team and the Lochro team? And the answer is all of us. Standing Stone Games is the DDO team and the Lochro team and Sev and me and the art team and some IT folks and all that. So it's not like there was a company that formally hired Standing Stone Games. We are Standing Stone Games. So. Hey Cole, how's it going? Ranger GX, Calperca. Yep. On top of that, so this isn't really related directly to the transition, but Torque is back. We actually had an opportunity. This was actually happened before this whole SSG thing. Sometimes we tend to sneak in devs a little bit, but he's back, and there you go. So I don't know, Sander. We'll have to see what the future brings in terms of hiring and our ability to bring in new devs, that kind of thing. It's hard to say. I mean, we definitely do have expansion packs in the works for both DDO and hopefully, or Lochro and hopefully DDO with Ravenloft. Presumably, we might need to do some hiring for that, but at this point, we're not doing any new hiring. Are we more independent now? I'm going to let really the FAQ and announcement stand for itself. I kind of have some corporate lawyers saying, you better not say anything more than what we've approved you to say. But, yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. We are an independent company, a newly formed company called Standing Stone Games, and we're no longer connected to Turbine, no longer connected to Warner Brothers. We have as a publishing partner Daybreak Games. You know, there are certain things that a small team like Standing Stone, like running these big MMOs, there's a certain scale of process for various things. Everything from like health benefits to payroll to customer service to various things, right? That it's easier to get into a partnership with someone like Daybreak for, just because of the scale that they are able to absorb in a way that just makes it a lot easier for everyone. Uh, Shoemaker, how is that going to work with licensing and WotC stuff? We said in our FAQ here, and I suppose I could actually call up the FAQ just to put it on the screen. Um, we haven't. We were able to work out a new license agreement with everyone for both Lord of the Rings and Dungeons and Dragons. So we're good. That's the Shadowfell conspiracy FAQ. You know, maybe I could probably unsticky that at some point. Yeah. Like I say, the game, by the way, is still down. We're in the middle of QA White Glove. This is for Update 33, Patch 2. In addition, we are enabling world character transfer, so that's why it's a little bit of an extended downtime, because we need to test all that out. So, we do have the FAQ here on the forums. I can use that to call up in case there's any sort of questions or what have you. But otherwise, I guess we'll just sort of leave it as it is. Unless someone's got something they want to ask about. I'm trying to call up my screen to be a little bit better. All right. Hey, there I am. But doesn't Warner own the Lotro IP? It's a little complicated, but who owns Lord of the Rings as an intellectual property is Middle-earth Enterprises, which I believe is Saul Zaentz somehow. Saul Zaentz ultimately is the group that owns it. And Lord of the Rings, Warner Brothers has the Lord of the Rings license for movies and things like that. And Lord of the Rings Online has historically had an IP for the books, a license for the books. And that is what we have with Standing Stone Games as well. So you're not going to see us make any new movies, but things are just going to continue on like normal for the IP there. Pseudo ATX says, why the name Standing Stone? Also, what do you lose by losing support of Turbine GameWise server access for instance or technology? Actually stay tuned. We have a post going up on Standing Stone Games, our Facebook page here. And a little bit later on today, that's going to talk a little bit about how we came up with the name and all that sort of thing. So, pretty cool. Let me actually drop that on our chat here as well. We would love if you wanted to give us a like on the Book of Faces. See, we even got some new t-shirts. Not now. Not now. Yeah. Thanks, Facebook. Anyway, seems like they're not going to let me click through that. But we have that here, so if you would like to give us a like, you can find it. Just go into Facebook, search for Standing Stone Games. We also do have a Twitter account. That's twitter.com/StandingStoneMA. They have a 15-character limit, so we couldn't do Standing Stone Games. In terms of the other part of the question, what do we lose by losing support of Turbine GameWise? I mean, ideally the answer is very little, right? Because we're working pretty hard to to maintain, you know, an active game and all that. Turbine, at least in the short term, is going to be continuing to do our customer service, and we do have a customer service thread. CS Arcade has info on that. Server access, the servers are staying where they are. They're all intact. They came with us. Shoemaker says, will we have a little more freedom in creating new content? We've actually enjoyed a pretty large amount of freedom up to this point, but to the extent that we are our own company, able to chart our own direction, I guess the answer to that's yes. But really, you know, working with WotC and that's been a piece of cake, so it really hasn't been an issue in terms of, you know, freedom in creating the kind of content we want. Same office? Yeah, at least for now. Oh, there's actually a big office that Turbine has, and we kind of split it down the middle at the moment, just because, hey, they're paying rent anyway, so we're in a lease. So yes, at least at the moment we are. Do I think being more independent will allow perhaps faster movement of things like patches and updates? I don't think that really has much to do with it. You know, it's not like we had to get corporate approval to do these sort of things. I mean, ideally we'd love to do it, but yeah, I don't think in general it's going to make much of a difference. Is the transition to Standing Stone Games going to bring any new changes to the communications from the team about new and upcoming content? Probably. You know, hopefully we'll stay active and engaged in the community. I put the release notes in with the downtime announcement. Things like that. Does it mean we don't have to rely on union voice talent now? That's a good question. I think technically the answer to that is yes. We do have an existing relationship with, you know, our voice acting people in a studio based out of Texas that does a lot of our work for game audio and things like that. So I think we're going to continue that at least for a while here because we like the results we get. But yeah, I mean, technically that, you know, we're no longer bound by the Warner Brothers corporate policy. What happens to turbine points? We're naming them DDO points, which kind of makes sense, right? Because they never really worked for multiple games anyway. So it's Lotra points and DDO points. Yep. Does this mean we can produce SSG and DDO Lotra merchandise? In terms of the DDO and Lotra merchandise, nothing has changed there. That's a separate licensing agreement we would need to go through. In terms of SSG merch, I don't know. It's actually a good. Do you think anyone would actually be interested in that? I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I suppose theoretically, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look into that more. Are we still working on Ravenloft? Heck yeah. When will DDO be back online? Hopefully by 1 o'clock. Who is the Standing Stone Games CEO? Our executive producer is Severlin. That would be Rob Ciccolini. He is in charge of the studio. Do we think we can keep up money-wise? Or are we planning some kind of advertising for new players for more revenue? We like revenue, but yes. I mean, the reason we're doing this is we feel very strongly that we can remain financially stable with your support. Oh, hey, can't touch. That's who you are, Uncle DOJ. Nice. Alright, let's see. So I was going to see if I can actually do something kind of fun here. I can. Let me, I can log into the game. Haha. I can log in and you can't. Alright. That means, though, that we're getting ready to... We're in the middle of White Glove, so we should be opening up by 1, hopefully. $7.90. From everything I've seen, the end users shouldn't see a change. It's going to be business as usual. Are there any benefits you see for end users with this change? You're right that largely this is going to be mostly transparent to the people who just sort of log in and play. I mean, unless you see the new logo and stuff, you're really not even going to notice a difference, right? Because it's the same thing that has always been. But this allows us to reinvest in our MMOs. This gives us incentive to continue to develop them in the best way we can. So hopefully, what the benefits you see are a continued passion, increased passion and development from the team here. I mean, it's hopefully going to be a good thing. But in terms of the day in day out stuff, ideally we really don't want it to be very disruptive at all. Oh, maybe I can't log in. I thought maybe I could. Probably do it on my admin. All right, let me try that again. Let me try that again. Yes, you can, at least for now, and there is a customer service fact that you can take a look at if you'd like to as well, but short term, at the very least for a while here, it's going to be support.turbine.com. None of that support stuff changes, none of the hours change, in-game tickets are still the same, that kind of thing. Longer term, we have some other plans in the works that we'll share with you as we get a little bit closer to it. A new SSG cosmetic shield? Yeah, we had to get rid of the turbine shield. We can't use it anymore. It's still in the game data, but I'm going to have to get a new shield. Yep. Alright. What do we got from YouTube? Any other old devs coming back? At the moment, no. Our hiring is what it is right now. Stay tuned if we do have some new faces to introduce. We'll do that, but we'll see what happens there. At the moment, no. It's going to basically be the same shield, but with the SSG logo on it. And that's our abbreviation, by the way, is SSG. I don't know if you guys care to use it, but that's sort of the plan. Alright, cool. I am in the live world. This is on my admin, though. So. We can't talk about numbers. Even if we could, we wouldn't want to. That's just some kind of private businessy things. Nothing personal. So I'm in the game world all by myself. Look at that. I am in charge. This is my world. Yep. How are things going with the one list fixes? They are mostly done. When I look at that list, I think it's between this patch and the other stuff, it's largely complete. There may be, if there's a few things left to do, then I know it's on our list of things to do. But I think we made a pretty big chunk of that stuff already done. Character transfer is still crazy expensive. Any chance to cut that in half? Not at the moment. We'll see. We'll see. But the plan is to keep it as it is right now. But you can now pay with turbine points rather than having to do real cash. So that's an option for you. How is Dragonborn coming along? Well, I have been hearing devs talking about working on Dragonborn, and my understanding is it's coming along pretty good. And yes, we are still on track for the 11th anniversary for Dragonborn. Rezia games after Christmas? Yes. I think it's set for something like mid-January, something like that. What we have is the coin drops for Festival are going through January 2nd, and then I think the adjuster is sticking around for a couple of weeks after that, until like January 15th-ish, and then after that, Rezia and Midwinter will kick off, and that'll go for a while too. Yes, Carpentry, we do plan on another one list thread. That's something we hope to do periodically as time permits. No kobolds? Well, the community has spoken, and they said they didn't want them. I don't know what's up with that. Yeah, we figured that out actually in the live stream here. Someone walked me through that. Foji video says, for the one things thread, the giant hold door works fine if you click on it, but if you select through key binding, you can still port to the other side as before. Yeah, we're aware of that. My suggestion is don't do that. I know that's a terrible suggestion, but that's my suggestion. You know, this is, unfortunately, like I say, we're still in the process of getting the worlds back up. Maybe I better stop interfering with things. Let me call up the release notes, and we'll do that instead. I don't want to make things worse for QA here. Alright, so in the patch, we now have the world transfers available. We do have a character transfer guide, and let me call that up as well. So one of the big bullet points is something we've been working on for quite some time now, and it's just now coming to fruition. So it's pretty easy. Just from the launcher here, you're going to see the transfer button once you log in. I had to take these screenshots for now from Flamekeep, which is an internal dev server. When time permits, I'm going to swap those pictures out to the live launcher, but obviously since it wasn't in the live launcher, I couldn't grab pictures of it from the live launcher. So this is what it was looking like in our internal development world. So you'll click the transfer button, and then it'll tell you which worlds have characters of yours, and you'll select the world, and then you'll select the character or characters, and then the worlds you want to go to. The move to is for the live game worlds. Copy to, when active, is for Lamania. And of course, character copy to Lamania is free. Moving, of course, is not a copy. It's a physical move of your character to a different game world. Then you'll confirm. Take a couple minutes. There you're done. That's it. So there are some things that don't transfer with your character, like your friends list, your ignore list, your guild name. None of the guild stuff is going to carry with you, which is why, if you are a guild leader, you cannot transfer. We actually prevent guild leaders from being able to transfer until you move succession to another member of your guild. So that's something you're going to have to do. Your TR cache, you're going to have to deal with that. Auction house stuff, of course, doesn't move on. In-game mail, of course, doesn't move on. Shared account bank, crafting storage. So you're going to kind of have to take everything onto your character and move that. You can't be logged in while doing it, because that would, that would make things weird. You can transfer back to your original game world, but again, as it says, your original guild airship TR cache and game mail is not preserved. On top of that, there's a 14-day wait. It has to do with the way we store data in the database. Like if you copy a character over and then try to copy it back before we do some kind of snapshotty thing or what have you, it can cause some problems. And we actually do it more frequently than that. But just to be on the safe side, to prevent any potential issues, we've put a 14-day sort of cooldown between going back to your original world if you want to do that. And just like any other kind of merger we do, if you have another character, if there's another character with your name, you'll get a -1 and a free rename credit. You'll type /change name and then whatever you want that name to be to change into the name there. So that's the big thing for update 33 patch 2. We also have monk updates, the finishing moves. Now incorporate stunning bonuses into their DC calcs. Key shout has its cooldown match to reduced to match intimidate. Key cost lowered. I guess I'm not going to go through all this stuff, but we have a whole bunch of monk stuff in here, which was one of the main reasons we wanted to get this out before the holiday break, so that our monks could be in a pretty good place. One thing that's different, bluff, we fixed bluff. So now it can be used to pull mobs away from the friends without sharing aggro, because we've also brought back the shared aggro thing where, like, for a couple of years now, it used to be you couldn't do this, but for a couple of years now, if you pinged one mob, their next door neighbor just was like, what? And wasn't alerted. That had to do with an AI change that we did. Well, we fixed it. So now it's back to if one mob gets aggro, creatures nearby may potentially join that person or enemy. But bluff will allow you to pull singularly. Bluff and deception will no longer cause bosses to turn around. Yeah, I know it's kind of a nerf, but it was never really meant to be that way anyway. Plus, it doesn't make any sense. It also prevents an issue where, and yes, we were aware that you guys were doing it, some ranged mobs and spellcasters would just stop attacking after you bluffed them. So now that that's fixed, we did some stuff with Kenneth Crafting, fixed a few things there. Brought back some old properties and fixed properties on hand wraps, including vampirism, lesser vampirism, heroic and legendary green steel hand wraps. Yes, 2016 is the year that we finally brought you green steel hand wraps. And this is really thanks to the work we did this year to revamp hand wraps into regular weapons. A big one here, Fog of War no longer conceals quest and portal entrances. Some people have said correctly that, wait a second, is that an immersion thing? Breaking thing? But what this allows is newer players, less map-savvy players, to at least have some sense of where the dungeon is. We have heard for years, and you've probably heard it too, I don't want to join groups because they're already in a quest, and I don't know how to get to the quest, and I don't want to look like a noob running around the game world and then dying, or maybe I'm not strong enough to get to the quest entrance by myself, and then I'm dying the quest entrance, and by the time I recall out and get back in, they're already done with the quest anyway, and the whole thing is just a whole bunch of work, and I don't know where to go. So that's why we're doing this. When you open up the map, the quest entrances are going to show up on the map. The Fog of War will still be there, so you're still going to have to get to the quest, but this at least gives you some sense of where you need to go. The added bonus, by the way, is you'll recall on a map if it's gray, you haven't picked it up. If it's yellow, you have. So it's an easy way to check to help prevent you from getting to a quest only to realize you didn't actually pick it up. So there you go. And we've updated the game credits to Standing Stone Games. Also changed it to DDO points. There's some more work, I'm sure. I'm sure somewhere you're going to come across the damn turbine still somewhere in the game. We've got, I think it's 30, 60 days or something like that to completely scrub things out. But we took a big pass on it this time around. Alright, let me get to my chat here. Looks like no real news from the QA team. They're still in the middle of it. Yeah, Demon Web is a great example of where this is going to help. No more hitbox. Oh, I think the hitbox is fixed. Did I not put that in there? If not, I should. Yeah, I mean, the hand wrap hitbox has been fixed, I might think. So you're right, I didn't include that in the notes, so I'll have to add that. Sorry about that. How does this affect Assassinate? Uh, it shouldn't, well, it'll basically work the way Assassinate used to work before we broke the mob AI. So if you assassinate something and miss and get that creature alerted, next creatures right next to it may also be alerted based on a check they make. I don't know though. I think in the past it used to work like single target. If you were successful, it tended to stay successful, and you didn't pull everyone else to you. The TR cache and world transfer is going to be an issue. It is. It is. It was. It always has been. Sorry. Get rid of your stuff. You don't want it. You don't need it. Yeah. You don't have to rename your character if someone else already has the name, but you will have a -1 there. So if that's an issue for you, then you can. Will Dragonborn also have an iconic? I don't know. I don't know. Possibly, but we haven't really gotten that far yet. Are we to expect goblins in the game? Probably. We don't want to commit to a timeline or anything, but we heard pretty loud and clear that that's the monster you guys would like us to bring next. So I think it's on our list of things to do now. But no promises as to the exact one of that. All right. I know. I do need my TR cache. No, you don't. There's a reason it's a cache. You haven't taken anything from it in 5 years. You know I'm right. No, I'm kidding. But we can't clearly put. Well, the TR cache is a tech issue, and shared bank makes obvious sense. But the TR cache shares a lot of the same tech as, say, the other stuff, so it just doesn't work, and that's why it's not there. It's not that we don't want you to, although we probably don't want you to, but it's not like we don't want you to. It's that it just doesn't work. So. Is DDO down? Yes, we are currently white gloving. QA is doing their work, testing out character transfer and all that sort of thing before we open the worlds to everyone. Another low-level raid would be cool. Yes, it would. Any plans to consolidate the servers? No. It's not to say it could never happen, but we've talked about that quite a bit in the past about some of the technical issues that it would be for DDO up to and including like airships and all that. So it would take a huge amount of engineering work to be able to get to the position that we could merge game worlds if we wanted to do that. And so I just really don't have plans to do that at this time. If someone already has the -1 name, I believe you're right. It would go -2, -3, whatever. Can we post stats on how many people TR into monks after the first week of these changes? I'm going to guess some, yeah. Legendary Pit is a low-level raid. Yeah, there you go. Alright, so let's see. I'm not going to go on forever here. So this is the last show of the year for me. I'm out Friday, I'm out next week, and I'll be back Wednesday. I guess that would be, January 4th for the first one of the year. I was kind of hoping to get the DDO Chronicle out this week, but we made a little announcement, and it's kept me busy. So I think I'm just going to kick that can down the road into the new year as well. So I'll give out points for the last week's DDO Chronicle today, but I just don't have time to get it done this week. I got Jeffrey with me, and we're hanging out and having fun and all that. So I just have to kind of keep my my work week a little short this week. So if I don't see y'all until the new year, Happy New Year. Have we ever considered community development of items in the game? Having players submit 3D models for weapons, not for money, but maybe for the name of the weapon. That would be cool. I mean, I bet there are some people with Maya experience or Maya experience in that. But I think there's might be some kind of laws, labor laws rather, about sort of crowdsourcing that without compensation. Weekend bonus. Good call. Let me call up our weekend bonuses, and I can talk maybe a little bit about what's... Oops. I clicked on the wrong thing. Gonna have to let... It'll take just a minute. Movember Extra Life prizes all handed out. Yeah, no. Yes, no-ish. I've done most of the Movember stuff. I do have some follow-up. I did the... so all the people who reached out to me should have their stuff. And everybody... And I did a pull from all the drawings and messaged those folks to say, hey, you've won something, so let me know what you want. But there's still some people who I need to get back to. And it's probably going to also have to wait till the new year. I'm also going to be working in the new year to, set up in-game meetup times and parties and things like that. So that'll happen in the new year. For Extra Life, that was always going to be in the new year. Because I'm not doing the drawings for Extra Life until the new year. But most folks there as well have, at least if they got in touch with me up until last week, have their stuff. And I have a big backlog to get to now for both DDO and Lotro here when I get back from break. If I can get it done in the next couple days, I'll try to take a crack at it, but no promises. You know, holidays tend to keep us all real busy, right? All right, I have got the DDO calendar up. So our bonus is just basically Festival. Oh no, double daily dice XP. And that's actually going to run through Monday, January 2nd. So basically throughout the whole holiday, you're going to get double daily dice XP. Again, the festival coin drops go until the 2nd as well. We have our 4th week of December deals that kick off this, Thursday, Friday. And that also goes 2 weeks. It's almost as if everyone's on holiday break. But that's going to be happening here too, kicking off on Thursday. We also have some extra things that will be announced, sales-wise, that I will leave to our store team to announce. I don't think they would be happy with me if I told them to you now. But of course, we got holiday stuffs happening, and this is our big push through the rest of the new year, so we're going to be doing some big announcements this week in terms of sales. But yeah, double daily dice XP is the bonus. Kicks off on Thursday late morning and goes all the way through into the new year. Twitch DDO box art thumbnail. I've looked into that. It's something I'm working on. So the trick is, at least until recently, Twitch uses GiantBomb.com's wiki for box art. And GiantBomb.com's wiki is editable, so someone could theoretically do it themselves, but we have box art on there, and it's not being pulled correctly by Twitch, so I don't know what's going on. It may be a while. I know it's weird, but honestly, it's kind of minor anyway, but you're right, we do need to do that. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm going to have to reach out to Twitch support and actually get them involved. Is our office moving? At least short term, no. Yeah, we did do a tattoo competition for Shatter Kai, and we did actually do a name item thing. This was years ago. Arcat's Cord actually comes from that contest, um, where someone was able to design a weapon, and we made it in game. It ended up being a big issue, difficult thing to do, get through the lawyers and all. But any new content planned from other D&D universes? Well, Ravenloft, and who knows what'll happen after that. We shall see. Do we ever do studio tours? Not formally. That's not to say it could never happen, but for the most part, we're a closed office, so we don't have like say formal guest tours, things like that. Um, sorry. I don't know about Bear Die, Jeffrey. There's some people on the team who are just like, no, we don't want pink bears running around the game world, but we'll see, right? Zermi, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to your question about improved critical bludgeoning. Does it work for druid animal form if you use scimitar? I don't know. I'll leave it up to the druid experts on that one. Thimble, I did actually just explain a little bit ago about the fog of war thing. So the dungeon entrances are going to show up on the map through fog of war. So the fog of war is still there, but you're at least going to get some guidance to the quest entrance now. 2017 Player Council applications. When are we starting that? Probably late January, early February, something like that. I know that's typically been when we've done it, just because we've got enough to do around the holidays without sorting through the Players Council. And the first Players Council started in late February, so typically we've been kind of doing that process in the first quarter of the new year. And next year's Players Council is going to be a little different, where I think we want to rotate more people through it. We'll have more about that, sometime in January here. But rather than formal 1 year long tenures, we're kind of going to loosen things up a little bit for the new year. Any plans to expand content for level 30 to 40 and increase the level cap? No plans to increase the level cap, but certainly we'll be having more legendary quests coming up. What about giving VIPs the capability to buy stuff without calling support? Well, I mean, you should be able to buy things, but if you're talking about things that are gated for VIP, we're not changing that at this time. Bludgeoning works for animal form always, regardless of main hand weapon, even if it's ranged. Thank you, Strim Tom. There you go. See, that's why he's on the stream team. Monday nights, 7 p.m. It's an excellent show. The stream is one of our good ones, really good ones. Quinfer, I got to stream late today, and I just found out about the Switch. From what I understand, things won't really change, but you'll still be around doing these streams, correct? Yes. Yep, I'm still the community manager for both DDO and Lotro. It's almost like when this happened in July, it was already in the works. So yes, I'm absolutely with Standing Stone Games. I'm thrilled to be here, and it's going to be awesome. I've long been kind of an indie gamer and all that sort of thing, and to be in the position we are now with Standing Stone Games it's just super cool. I mean, there's a lot I can't talk about because of lawyers and wielding great axes, but this is very, very cool, and I'm glad that you guys are with us, and hope to see your support for a long time to come. How did I manage to keep it secret for so long? It was tough. I like to talk. I'm a big gabber. So this whole thing about, this has been going on. This deal obviously took a while to make happen. And it was so hard for me not to spill the beans. But I just did it by gritting my teeth and shoving it out of my brain, you know. I am very hopeful with the new arrangements. I am Samoth. That's the way I typically did it for when I have to separate out like big announcements, like when I knew Ravenloft was in the works, but I couldn't tell you guys yet. I just sort of have a section in my brain which is just like you just wall it off, and you don't just get it out of my head so that when I'm answering questions and talking about things, it doesn't pop into my brain as something to spill, and it's just a trait I learned. Frankly, back as a journalist, because you'd have off-the-record conversations sometimes about things. You know, maybe you had something you haven't confirmed yet, or someone told you something in secret, and they were just like, "You can't tell anyone, but here's what's going to happen," or whatever, and just sort of train yourself to do it. Does this mean DDO might be at PAX next year? Well, I would say it is unlikely that we will have a formal, expensive, formal exhibit hall space at PAX because, if we got a couple $1 million, we probably have other things we'd rather do with it. But, and yes, it does cost that much. But that's not to say we won't be there. We'll certainly be there as Standing Stone Games peeps. We'll be wearing our T-shirts. We're going to be, supporting indie game developers in the Boston area. We're going to be hanging out with friends at PAX East. We'll probably do some kind of informal, if nothing else, player meetup. Informal, the way we've been doing it, which is, hey, if you want to hang out with us, we're going to be here at this time. That kind of thing. So. Have I played the new Tower of Frost yet? I love the new DM voice. Yeah, I don't know who that loser is. Watch my live stream. Get me to 50, please. By Random. Okay, Random. Sounds good. Best of luck. Alright, let me check our chat, see where we're going. Got about 10 minutes here. Worlds are now open. Alright. Worlds are now open. Due to oddities with the character transfer, we have disabled that for the time being. We are now open without character transfers. Apparently something came up in QA checking. I'll have to dig into that a little bit. Looks like some kind of GLS error or something like that. But as of about 1 minute ago, the game worlds are up. Let me actually go launch the game client and see if that is so. Worlds are now open! Rah! So anyway, like I said, hope you have, if you're celebrating any of the holidays in the coming weeks, hope it's a really good one for you. Be safe, drive safe, don't drink and drive. If you enjoy New Year festivities, hope they go really well for you. Got friends, loved ones going on vacation, that sort of thing, best of luck. If you're hanging out, playing lots of DDO, which is a great time to do this sort of thing, we've got some great bonuses, some huge sales for you. Festival cookies to turn in. That's actually what I'm going to do here. I am going to turn in my festival cookies to end this stream and see how many sunblades I don't get. Now watch me bomb out.
'Tis the season of festival in Stormreach.
I seem to be the only person in the game world, which tends to be that they're not open. This is why I wait a little bit to put it on social media. Yes, it looks like they haven't quite opened the worlds yet. Someone's going to have to... I just messaged our internal chat room to say, no. If you have a trouble getting to the Festival Jester, this top-down view can often be a good way to help get you where you need to be. I don't know, which house do you like to go to the Festival Jester with? I tend to do Jarasco here just because it's fairly easy to do this jump. Alright. Vela, Red Dragon Cookie. Oh, one thing you can do this year is just do it, plug in this amount. So let's see, 30, so I could do 20. And just let it go. That's pretty hot. Alright, looks like we are now open. Yep, there we go. We've got some more folks popped into the game world, so hopefully people will be flooding in pretty darn quick. There is, unfortunately, when you do that, you do have to quick reopen, but whatevs. It's not that big a deal. I only got 2 gold coins so far. Alright, let's see what I got for your coins. Eritricos cookie is Rising Fury. The Beholder cookie is Disintegrate. The Black Abbot cookie is Stone Skin, which is pretty handy, actually. A lot of these are really good for low-level stuff. Acid Blast for the Black Abishai cookie. The blue is Blur. Can't go wrong with that. Neutralize Poison for the green, which is pretty useful as well. The Hezru cookie is Infernal Power. That's an infernal bonus to strength, I believe. Gust of Wind for the Kobold cookie. Lulth is +2 Profane, bonus to attack damage, physical resistance, and universal spell power. Lord of Blades is Blade Barrier. I'm pretty sure that that's back. Burning Blood for the Queen Laylot. Medusa's Flesh to Stone. Owlbear is a rage bonus to strength and con. Red Abishai is protection from energy fire. The Shadow Cookie, yeah, is the same as the Shadow spell, where you get incorporeality. Float like Featherfall. Bonuses to hide, move, silent, tumble, and deal strength damage on melee range critical hits. Shar is blindness to enemies. Spinner of Shadows is crushing despair. Storm Reaver, Call Lightning. Succubus, Charm Monster. Sulamades is teleport. Taken is lets you look like a Taken. Positive Radiant Force Field is for Tovin to Cannith. Pretty sure that's new this year. Comet Fall is Vela. Warforged Titan is Titan's Grip. Spiderweb is... Yes, I got it in. Rejuvenation Cocoon for the Spiderweb cookie. White Abishai is Cone of Cold. Zizzy, the Bees of Madness. Donvi is a Shrieking Defender, Iron Defender basically, that's your friend. Deep Slumber with a higher DC. Jellycake is Death Ward. Fernia is Wall of Fire. Irian is Sunburst. Kirithi, or however you say, is Prismatic Spray. We have Vigor for Lamania. It's a bit of a nicer thing. Death Aura for the Maybar. Rezia, Greater Freeze. Shavaroth. Aid. Serenia is Jump and Featherfall. Good Hope on Thelanis, which is nice. Zoriat is Autosphere dancing, and we upped the cupcake this year to a slightly higher heal. I believe it's moderate or serious or something like that. Let me actually see if I can. I'll bring one out of the bag, see if I can see what that is. Yeah, heal moderate this year for the cupcakes. We upped it by a level. Okay. I don't have an answer for you, Vortec. I'm sorry. Can you put a cookie on the bar and still use it? Yeah, I think so, right? Yeah, there's a new terms of service. That's a legal formality, right? You guys are disappointed about the kobold cookie. See, I thought I looked at ones that were least popular last year and did them this year. So the kobold cookie, I had negative feedback last year on it, and I thought the gust of wind would be useful because it dispels enemy firewalls. It's useful in, say, like Inferno of the Damned, that kind of thing. It's just kind of a useful spell. You can get Sunblades from cookies. It's a very rare drop and one that I've never had. I don't know, Daikeel, when the server transfer will be up. It was supposed to be today, but it looks like they ran into an issue, so we disabled it until we can get it fixed. Alright, let's see. New cinematic movie. It's the same cinematic movie, it just has the new logo for DDO. And I guess, let me call it issue. Alright, thank you very much for watching the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream here on twitch.tv/DDO stream and youtube.com/DungeonsandDragons/live. This is it for me for this year. I will see you in 2017. We do have shows going on over the holiday breaks. Some of our streamers are going to be on. Some probably are not because they are doing stuff with family and what have you. So stay tuned. And if you want to support our streamers over the break, that's great. Hope you get in some great DDO time. Hope that the random loot god gets you all the best loot over the holidays here. Thank you for being a part of Dungeons & Dragons Online. We look forward to a long and exciting development time for you, and a big 2017, including our 11th anniversary, Ravenloft Update 34. And I should just drop a hint, but I'm not going to, because I don't want to cause myself more work over the break. Yeah. All right. Very cool, everyone. I will see you soon. Thanks for watching.